Man. Man, if Eagle was able to criticize me right now, he would say how much of a slog I am for streaming late. I mean, technically I'm not that late, it's just like, what, 5 minutes late. Which, in practice is not that much, but I would imagine that for Eagle it would be, it would be something unforgivable. Let me just finish up saying. Today I'm going to continue the story, and I saw just how far. And honestly, I am a little bit worried. Because by the looks of it, it doesn't even seem like I am halfway into it. Which is very, very worrying, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do about that. For now, I'm just going to hope that worst case scenario, I'll just have to eventually do a big stream. Which thankfully is not going to take that much energy out of me, since I don't really need to voice over the entire story. Since the story is voice acted, thank God about that, but I would really want to avoid that as much as possible, having to do big streams. And oh man, Jesus Christ, it's so fucking hot. Thank you. Here is complicated. Oh yes. Yes. Alright. This should make things much more bearable for me. Alright. No more stalling. Because the story is very, very long. And I only have what? Less than a week to finish. Less than 2 weeks, sorry, to finish it. AA-Q2. Carrion Crow. The crow that peeks at putrefaction is content to sink further into the abyss. Ooh. If I remember correctly, we're about to re-enter the building right after hearing some explosions inside it. The heavy metal door seals shut, hedging out the clamor of the outside world. Inside the lab, the only sounds are the low humming made by various precision instruments, echoing in the spacious interior. There is a faint scent of disinfectant in the air, blended with the unique static odor produced by electronic equipment. The atmosphere here is oppressive and choking. Ooh. In the center of the room is a specially made chair. It has a high back, and its metal armrest have manacles built into them. The chair is covered in various complicated buttons and indicator lights. Its surface is made of some kind of black material that looks cold and hot. Ava has been stripped of all her equipment and bound to the chair. Also, they did manage to capture Alva then. Oh, this is probably the manor that Igla was requested to attend to, right? Maybe. Her head is lowered and her eyes are dark. She is currently shut down. Cables of various thickness are plugged into her body. They are connected to devices surrounding her. A huge monitor displays constantly shifting complex data and waveforms. I can read, I promise. Several lab-coated marionette doll researchers are working around Alva. They have received extensive and sophisticated biosynthetic external customization, so their facial expressions look exceedingly lifelike. However, the way their fingers fly across their keyboards exudes an inhumanity that is difficult to hide. From time to time, they will glance up at the data on the big screen and frown, as though they have encountered some problem. One researcher carefully adjusts the cables coming from Alva, ensuring there is a good connection to the equipment. Another researcher carefully studies the data on the screen, constantly taking notes. Yet, another researcher is holding a tablet PC, but a closer inspection reveals that they are actually playing a game. Real, so real. Suddenly, the sound of a heavy metal door opening shatters the lab's silence. Yeah, I was right. That's the matter that she was requested to attend to. Igla's stride is even, like a society gentleman entering a grand theater. Her gaze coldly sweeps the room and instantly locks onto the researcher, who's playing solitaire in the corner. Her lips curl with an almost undetectable disgust, but she maintains her composure.
ダミー人形たちの服装と装飾、本当に必要ですか？この方が綺麗じゃん？
Of course it's this bitch again. In response to Igla's question, a figure slowly rolls out of the shadows on a swivel chair. He has a cup of hot coffee in one hand, which she is stirring with a spoon in the other. The murky coffee has so much sugar in it that it's practically solid. What's up with all these researchers and their constant need for excessive sugar? Why does it keep happening? It happened once with Persica, it happened again with Persicaria, and now we have this bitch over here. Her smile is bright and sinister. Her eyes are wide, but there is a mania to them in them. What's happening with me today? There we go. There it is, this bitch again. Igla's slightly wrinkled brow in the revulsion in her eyes indicates her true feelings about the researcher.
私をお嬢様から引き剥がしただけの理由、終わりなのでしょうね。
まあまあ、そんな怖い顔しないでよ。
Chilovek tilts her head back and finishes the coffee in one go, then spits it all back out. Wait, so you don't like have that much sugar on it? Then why? Probably trying to imitate Persica, isn't she?
何の茶番ですか？
私の尊敬してる人の生活スタイルを真似てるんだけど、ちょっと砂糖入れすぎたわ。
No one can live like Persica, chill, like don't even try.
そこのここ掃除して。
A marionette doll steps in from the sidelines and cleans up the floor. Chilovek chuckles and puts the sediment-filled mug back on her table, then picks off the ground and set her spinning chair revolving until she gets dizzy.
ごっこ遊びも結構ですが、用事がないようでしたら、ここで失礼させていただきます。お嬢様は大事な客人の対応中です。 一人にさせたくありません。
Despite Igla's polite tone, the annoyance in her eyes are growing. She walks slowly to the center of the lab. Her gaze locks on the bound alva, like she's inspecting an exquisite but flawed work of art.
相変わらず堅物なんだから。あんたのその顔、うちの猫が怒った時とそっくりだよ。
Chiloveg laughs in a melodramatic way and even jumps out of her chair, hopping and skipping over to Igla and making a kitty's got claws gesture at Igla.
そちらこそ相変わらずのユーモアセンスをお持ちで。早くしてください。お嬢様が待っているんです。
お嬢様、お嬢様、いっつもそれだね。焼いちゃうな。まあ簡単に言うと、この子へのハッキングは失敗。もう目も当てられないくらい大失敗。
At least finally some piece of good news so far. Jesus. Chiloveg's tone suddenly switches to a theatrical depression. She collapses into her chair, face falling to a mask of exaggerated despair as she tilts her head back to gaze at the ceiling.
メンタルは完全にロックされてて、107通りくらいの方法を試したんだけど、全部ダメだった。これが噂に聞くパンドラコードってやつ。10年経っても解読されてないけど、これだから天才は嫌いなんだよね。
10 years is actually pretty impressive for security codes like this. For reference, for example, the Xbox One, which has been so far the most secure console of the Xbox IP, has just recently been hacked after so many years. I think it has been almost 10 years, right? Was the Xbox One launched 10 years ago? I think it was. Yeah, for almost 10 years, people were not be able to crack it, if I remember it correctly. But recently, very recently, someone did, using an older version of the console software. So yeah, 10 years is quite impressive.
とにかく直接接続によるハッキングは不可能。はあ、やだ。
そんな集体をわざわざ晒すために私を呼んだのですか？
だってこうなったら第三世代人形様の力を借りるしかないじゃん。ジラードグループにあんた以上に電子戦に強い人形はいないでしょ。
あなたを助ける義理は？
そりゃあ。
Igla glares coldly at Chiloveg, who responds with an ingratiating, what is that word? Ingratiating and annoying smile as she rubs her hands together. Oh, she's about to say something either about Project Eden or about Orphalum. I would guess it's probably Orphalum. Might be even related to the reason why Orphalum got attacked.
お嬢様の楽園計画がうまくいくために決まってるじゃん。
Or a combination of both. which we have seen from Eagle so far, it might be extremely effective.
反逆があの箱を奪ったということは実験に使える情報が詰まってるからかもしれないでしょ。ならきっと役に立つって。 やっぱりそれだけじゃ納得しない？
Igla lightly adjusts her cuffs with her slender fingers. Her movements are simple, but there is a chilling pressure in them.
彼女を起こしてください。
She's actually gonna try to do it.
ほう、本当に？じゃあ起こしちゃうよ。
Chiloveg's eyes light up and suddenly closes up to Igla, a look of something resembling surprise on her face.
何をお考えになられているかは知りませんが、私には関係のないことです。
ひどいな。私の行動は全部オルフェルーネのためを思ってのことなのに。ま、私にもメリットがあるのは確かだけど。
Igla does not answer her. She only unravels a cable from her own access port.
気をつけてね。防壁の突破に失敗したらこの子自壊しちゃうかもしれないから。そうなったらお手上げだよ。
I don't want them to get any information, but at the same time I would be very appreciative of that not being the result of their attempt.
操作を始めてください。
I know it won't, but come on now, we need to think just a little bit here, right? Just to make the story more tense. Igla's tone does not change, but there is an undeniable authority in her words.
時間は等しく平等です。私もあなたも無駄にする余裕はありません。
オレクのじじい、あんたの動きに気づいちゃったんだ。
This is interesting. Messing up behind his back.
思ったより頭いいじゃん。もしあんたのやろうとしてることに気づいたら。
発言にはお気をつけください。チルロビグ様。
はいはい。イグラ様最高。イグラ様は世界一。
Chiloveg bows in an over-the-top fashion to show that she's ready to cooperate, and her eyes shine ever brighter. In response to Chiloveg's acquiescence, the marionette dolls dressed up as humans begin moving without a as though they had been suddenly infused with life force. Their movements are mechanical and precise, with no hesitation or delays. They follow procedures meticulously. The click of switches and the humming of machinery is like a prayer of resurrection. Electrical current flows through the cables plugged into Alva and into her entire body. She reflexively struggles and grows in pain. However, the bindings which secure her in place leave her unable to move. I don't like when the dolls get tortured like that. Oh, I say torture, but... She's going to be fine. I mean, she's a playable character right now, so she's definitely going to be fine. The awakening process takes some time. After a while, Alva slowly opens her eyes, her blurry vision slowly focusing into clarity. After surveying her unfamiliar surroundings, she turns to the marionette dolls, now frozen in place. Their earlier flurry of movement replaced by vacant stares fixed on her. She does not catch the silhouette of Chilovek. Instead, her gaze goes straight to Igla. Upon seeing her, Alva suddenly relaxes and smiles. Igla raises an eyebrow almost imperceptibly. That is her sole expression of surprise. How much of a stone face does Igla have? Because every time that she has any type of change on her facial expressions, it really isn't that much of a thing. It's always imperceptible. It's almost imperceptible or something along those lines. Does she has a constant poker face? I mean, she probably has, right? Consider how much emphasis she puts on her composure and keeping up appearances. She gracefully adjusts her jacket and slowly walks up to Alva, a look of calm judgment in her eyes.
その反応は予想外です。何を笑っているのですか？
お前の無力さを。
Alva's tone is calm, but with an undercurrent of mockery in it.
私のメンタルへのハッキングに失敗したんだろう。成功していたら私を起動させたりなんかしない。
Igla's eyes flash coldly.
そしてお前がここにいるということは、未だボイマスティナを捕らえられずにいる。それどころか、居場所すら見当がついていない。違うか？じゃなければ、唯一彼女に対抗できる戦力なのに、前線から離れるわけがない。私なんかよりボイマスティナと話がしたかったんじゃないのか？
I felt that. That felt like just a little. What should I say? A little punch bag after all the mockery that Igla threw at Alva in their previous confrontation. She pauses, then continues.
ボイマスティナの捕獲も私に対するハッキングのいずれも失敗した。内心相当苛立っているはずだ。
Igla chuckles. Her laughter is elegant and melodious, but cold as ice. She approaches Alva and reaches out to lightly lift her chin, feigning gentleness.
興味深い考察ですが、いい加減と言わざるを得ません。あなたは今、敵を挑発していい立場にないことを自覚していますか？これからあなたに起こることをぜひ楽しみにしてください。
ははーん、もうやっちゃうの
Chilovek, can you shut up for a moment? Chilovek has moved behind Alva at some point. She claps excitedly, a twisted glee twinkling in her eyes.
アルバちゃん、あんたが後でどうなるか楽しみだな。泣き叫びながら許しを請うのか、メンタルが崩壊するのか。
Chilovek, can you just shut up for a moment? Can you just shut up? Whatever the fuck you are, be an Ito on an Aelid or whatever. Can you Just.
お前は
Alva's composure shows its first crack upon noticing Chilovek's presence.
確かあの時
死んだはずなんなんでもそれより自分のこと心配した方がいいよ。
Chilovek's voice is filled with a childlike curiosity and excitement. She bends down and speaks into Alva's ear, but she does not whisper, ensuring that Igla can hear her too.
イグラって普段は超真面目だけど結構えぐいからね。きっといっぱい遊んでもらえるんじゃないかな。
チルロビグ様、その辺でご容赦を。
Igla's tone bears a hint of warning. See, not even Igla is willing to deal with your bullshit, Chilovek. Can you shut up for a moment?
もう私を苦しめることはない。
After her brief surprise, Alpha quickly gets her emotions under control and faces Igla. There's a look of what could almost be admiration in Igla's eyes as she gazes at Alpha. She takes a step back, her hand gently caressing Alva's cheek. It is a gesture so tender that it could have come from a lover, but it sends a chill down Alva's spine.
強情な方ですね。ですがあなたの憶測に興味はありません。それよりもあなたのパートナーがあなたを離れて自由を得た事実に対してほっとしているのではありませんか。ずっと自分を足かせだと思っていたのでしょう。
Alva's only response is a scornful smile. For some reason, this smile ignites a nameless flame in Igla's neurocloud. She turns away and addresses Chilovek in a voice that allows no refusal.
最終段階から始めてもいいでしょう。
へえ、そうしちゃう。
Chilovek rubs her hands together in excitement.
この子のメンタルどんな形してるのかな。綺麗な箱？それとも星空？いや、迷路でもおかしくない。あー、楽しみ。
Igla pays no attention to Chilovek's antics. She simply nods to indicate that the marionette doll should continue their.
始めてください。
Several marionette dolls surround Igla, their hands connecting various cables to the access ports Igla has opened. A massive amount of signals floods through them into Alva's mind, blacking out her vision. Alva struggles in the darkness with all her might, but she can't break free of the bonds which hold her. For an instant, Alva's body twitches and shudders before she goes limp and unconscious.
構成防壁がダウンしました。あとは好きにしてください。
That easy?
も
長くは持ちません。やるなら早く。
うオッケー。
God fucking damn it. I can't believe it was just that easy. Well, she is a third gem doll after all. Chilovek's gleefully waves her hands. Her eyes are practically shining as she approaches Alva, admiring her like an exotic treasure.
植物もいいけど、私は人形のメンタルをいじるのが大好きなんだ。まるで埋められたお宝を掘り起こすようなこのワクワク感がたまらない。 科学の発展に貢献する気になったらいつでも声かけてね、イグラ。
Can you shut up for a moment?
その情熱、もっと有効活用できる対象が見つかることを願います。
Igla's words are calm and even, but the warning in her voice is becoming increasingly evident.
本来なら一刻でも早くお嬢様の元へ戻るべきなのです。事の重要性を踏まえて、これから起こることを見届けさせていただきます。
Igla walks over to the control panel at the side of the lab and sits down in a high-backed chair. Her poise and posture are perfect, and her gaze is locked on Alpha.
イグラがここまで重視してくれるなんて余計うずうずしちゃうな。
Chilovig fakes a look of depression, but there is a slight glint in her eyes.
勘違いしないでください。これも計画を順調に進めるためです。あなたのやり方は不安定要素ですから。
もういつになったら信じてくれるの？
I'm hearing a lot of talking from you, Chilovig, but I see no action so far. Maybe I should be thankful. You know what? Maybe for my best interest, it is better for you to keep talking, so you keep losing your time before you're able to fully crack Alva's neural clouds. Chilovig makes a show of pouting before a fanatical smile spreads across her face. Naturally, she's going to take good care of the new toy of hers. In fact, she has a special dream ready for Alva.
成果を期待しています。
Chilovig turns towards Alva, her hands gently caressing her still features. Her eyes gleaming with an obsessive light.
さーてどうしよっかな。
Fuck's sake. Her heart lurches, as though it's going to burst out of her chest. Alva wakes up, and then she remembers that she doesn't even have a heart in the first place. Yeah, I was about to ask about that. Do dolls even have hearts? Her breathing grows ragged. Her body glistens with cold sweat, and she feels a chill run down her spine. With nothing but utter darkness before her, she uncautiously reaches up and touches her eyes. She can't see anything. Is it just dark? Or is she blind? She reflexively attempts to move forwards, but she feels as though she is suspended in the void, with no way to exert her strength. Alva realizes that she is being hacked at this point. And the moment she realizes that, the surroundings suddenly fill with a burst of noise that approaches her rapidly, as though it's locked into Alva's presence and closing in on her. As the terrifying sound draws closer, a blinding light suddenly appears before Alva. She reflexively reaches a hand out to block it, but in the next moment, the true extent of the bone-chilling sight around her becomes apparent. Thousands of Aelids are rushing her like a flood. The horde extending as far as her eyes can see are exuding a nauseating stench. All of this almost convinces her that she isn't just seeing things. Alva frantically tries to bring her gun up to shoot back, but she finds that her hands are empty. And in this moment of confusion, She's swamped by a tide of monsters, carried away like a reed in a flood. She struggles with all her might, her steely fingers ripping limb after limb away from the Aelid's bodies. However, the endless tide of Aelids feel no pain, and they eventually gain the upper hand. Her frame is gouged open by sharp claws and teeth. Her circuits are slashed apart. The sparks from her power systems char black, smoking chunks into the horde, but it doesn't stop them in the least. Alva can feel her vision going dark once again. This time, it seems to foretell her imminent demise. Her limbs are slowly running out of strength. She doesn't know if it's because her power circuits were cut or if it's because her CPU is on the verge of crashing. She opens her mouth, but she can't make a sound. The creatures bury her in the abyss. She doesn't feel pain, only a growing fatigue. She's getting a little tired.
しっかりしなさい AL94!
Come on, White Master. Just as Alva is about to doze off, a mighty force suddenly grabs her hand and pulls her out of the Aelid horde. And I can't tell if someone is actually helping her or if all of this is illusion created by Chiloveg. Before she can react, she hears the sound of a gun cocking above her head. Right after that, she feels her AN-94 thrust into her hand like a fire poker. She stares in disbelief at the person who handed it to her. Oh yeah, no, this is definitely an illusion.
無駄口叩いてる暇はないわ
This is definitely an illusion. You're fucking dead, Anje.
戦闘準備
How much does Chiloveg knows about the DeFi task force? Probably a lot, right? If she's created a quote-unquote dream for her involving Anje. No, I should move to a position that could allow me to... Here. There we go.
脅威を排除する任務了解
Now, kill this guy. And then... Okay, it's fine. I go here. To both of these guys.
脅威を排除する
Oh. Oh, that was not exactly what I was expecting, but it's fine. It's fine.
脅威を排除する
Kill the frog. Kill the stupid frog and be done with the stage.
戦闘終了脅威は全て排除しました
This is kinda cruel. I mean, it's Paradigm, so obviously it's cruel, but bringing a dead person, showing a dead person to someone that hold the dead person probably very dearly to them. Fuck's sake, Chiloveg. A sticky, choking darkness plugs her nose and throat. It's disgusting, but she can't even throw up. This is the only thing Alva can feel right now. It's as though she's drowning in a huge swamp, unable to breathe or move. Roars slam into her ears, accompanied by the nauseating sounds of chewing. They are Aelid. These aren't the usual Aelid creatures, but human-based infected, surging towards her like a flood. And I'm kinda surprised to hear the mention of human Aelids in this game right now. This point specifically has been a little bit of a complaint that some players had about me not having human Aelids in this game, instead of having the animal ones. But they are only being mentioned in the story. They're not going to show up as 3D enemies, right, in actual combat stages. Alva has never seen such a variety of Aelids before. Yet, the monsters before her eyes take all kinds of forms. Some look like beasts, others resemble insects, still more appear human, but all of them radiate the same terrifying presence. Their claws can easily rend a doll's armor, and so Alva fights back with all her might, her gun spewing fire and breaking down one Aelid after another. However, more Aelids rush up to meet her, as though they were endless. Alva can feel her bullets hitting them, even smell the charred odor in the air. However, these monsters appear to know no fatigue or pain. There are far too many of them. A powerful sense of helplessness fills Alva's neural clouds, a profound realization that nothing she does matters, driving her to lower her. At the sound of a sharp rebuttal behind her, her frame shudders as she frantically reloads and starts shooting once again. I fucking hate Shilovek for this. Anja emerges from behind her cover, and it is then that Alva sees her fully. Her hair is tied up, and she's barking orders while firing her gun. In other words, she's just the same as she used to be. After emptying her last magazine, she throws her weapon at the oncoming tide before punching Alva on the shoulder and yelling at her. Anja retreats and Alva immediately follows her. Anja pulls out a detonator and tosses it to Alva. The Aelid horde has already swamped their previous position. Alva presses the detonator without hesitation, and an explosion erupts. A wave of searing heat washes over her from behind and sends the surrounding sand and dust flying. At this point, Alva finally sees that this is an old train station, and Anja is leading her deeper inside it. Anja and Alva run over to the platform. Rail lines extend as far as her eyes can see in either direction, but there are no train carriages within the station. The place where the train should be is instead full of monsters, their eyes filled with savagery. They emit low growls as they slowly begin to close in. What even is the plan of this dream though? Like, just keep exhausting Alva until what? Maybe just to distract her, perhaps? So that she can't... to delay her being able to deal with the hacking that is occurring right now. Alva looks down at her weapon. All she has left is the final magazine that's already loaded into her rifle. Meanwhile, Anja pulls out the MP443 at her waist and her combat knife before smiling bitterly at Alva.
列車が駅に着くまで持ちこたえるしかなさそうね。一緒に生き残るわよ。
Oh, oh, never mind. I thought we were going straight to the battle. I was about to say, damn, that was surprising that they are allowing me to fight so early on. But no. We just jumped to another part of the same segment. Countless Aelids flood the train station, but the train Anja is talking about does not arrive. Alva mounts her bayonet and lays into the Aelid orb with all her might. Disgusting fluids and limbs fly through the air as she stabs and slashes them, while her bayonet gleams cold. Where's the rest of Task Force DeFi? Why aren't they here to protect Anja? That's right. How's Anja doing? Alva suddenly thinks back to the one person who requires the most protection in this desperate situation. She tries to call Anja's name, but she's unable to project a sound. It's certainly not for any lack of trying, but any vocalization she can manage is drowned out by the thunderous roars of the Aelid world. Her throat feels dry and painful, saying, as though someone is strangling her. The only thing that leaves her mouth is a weak explosion of air. She desperately opens her mouth, but all she manages to do is inhale more of the choking air. She sees Anja. Anja is standing close by, facing away from her as she struggles valiantly against the Aelids. It is as though she can't see Alva. Her gun spews flame and as she pulls the trigger without stopping, bringing down one Aelid after another. However, there are simply too many Aelids. They are like an endless tide, wave after wave, washing in with no end. Several Aelids have already fallen around Angela, but even more Aelids are already lunging at her. One of them bounces from behind, its sharp claws seeking her exposed back. Angelia nimbly evades it, but another Aelid charges her from the side. She opens fire and kills that Aelid, but even more rush up and surround her. Angelia's movements begin to slow down, and the gun in her hands locks open on an empty chamber. For all her strength and of will and extensive training, she is ultimately only a human. Her body bears several wounds, and fresh blood oozes from them. Alva wants to rush over, but the Aelids have already surrounded her as well, to the point where she can't even take a step forward. Man, fuck Shieldbag. No, seriously, fuck Shieldbag. I hope she dies for real this time. All she can do is watch the horde swallow up Anja, powerless to help. This powerlessness is very familiar. A huge Aelid throws itself at Anja and knocks her to the ground. Alva reflexively reaches for the gun on her waist, but her hand finds nothing. At almost the same time, she sees Anja's pistol on the ground. It is the MP443 that has accompanied her for 10 years. Anja tries to struggle to her feet, but the Aelid's sharp claws have already pierced deep into her body. Crimson blood stains her clothes instantly. It is a more visceral and shocking sight compared to how electronic components are exposed when a doll's synthetic skin is torn open. Anje collapses to the ground, still struggling weakly. Alva can also see that she is looking at her. While her eyes are filled with pain and a refusal to accept her fate, there is no fear or despair there. Her lips are moving slightly, as though she's trying to tell Alva something. However, Alva cannot make out what she's trying to say. All she can hear are the howls and roars of the monsters. Suddenly, Angelia pounds the ground and all the surrounding sounds vanish, as though Alva had gone deaf all of a sudden. The fallen Angelia suddenly kicks away the Aelid attacking her and shouts at Alva. In a world of silence, her voice is clear and almost deafening. Sound suddenly returns to the world. The Aelid's house pierced the silence first, then the urgent blare of a train horn as it thunders into the station. You can also hear a machine gun firing from behind her. The Aelids around her collapse to the ground. Okay, what the fuck is this? What the fuck? Oh fuck, Chillowbag, honestly. The doll with the machine gun blinks, but her weapon never stops firing, cutting down one mob of Aelids after another. Her smile is as mysterious as Alva's remember. But after learning the full truth, she realized that there's something else behind the mystery.
いや、あなたは確か。はい、知りました。死は誰にも訪れます。
After laying down a torrent of ferocious firepower, RPK-16's LMG finally falls silent. She's out of ammunition.
でも人形は死と無縁。あなたも同じです、アルバ。ほら、列車に乗らないと。列車。
All Alva feels is a stabbing pain in her neural claws. It is as though she's forgotten something very important. The train's brakes shriek as they engage, and it slowly grinds to a halt amidst a spray of sparks. Then, the door to its cabin suddenly flies open, as though it were waiting for someone. Alva opens her mouth to ask what is going on, but she doesn't get the chance to say anything, because RPK-16, still smiling, suddenly raises her hand and shoves her onto the train.
愛する娘よ。
The force of the show sends Alva rolling over the floor of the cabin. The door immediately closes and the train begins to move. Alva rushes over to the door and pounds on it. Through the glass, she sees the doll who calls herself Ambla walking slowly towards Angelia. Meanwhile, more and more Aelids rush towards them. As soon they are buried beneath a tide of corpses. No matter how Alva shifts herself, she can't see them. Fuck Chillowbag. Fuck Chillowbag. Fuck this bitch. Fucking damn it, man. You can't hate Paradise enough. Hate all of them. Stupid freaks.
脅威を排除する。任務了解。
Kill this guy. I'm done with this guy. I'm done with these people. Kill them, kill all of them. Actually, over here. And then kill them.
脅威を排除する。
Sake, man.
脅威を排除する。
And all of this just to torture Alva, isn't it?
攻撃
Just for the fun of it. Like, because this whole thing, as far as I can understand, it's not really necessary, right?
攻撃開始。
Did she actually wake up? Alva suddenly snapped awake. Her originally blurry vision begins to focus. Her frame's functions quickly recover, and the scenery before her gradually focuses into a cold, white expanse. She's lying in a half-sealed capsule, and the cables used to assault her neurocloud are still connected to her access ports. This place is cramped. She's surrounded by icy cold metal on all sides, covered in a complex array of wiring and indicator lights. Her body is bound to a chair. She's unable to move except for some small headroom. The capsule is filled with a quiet hum. Upon closer listening, it turns out to be the running noise of various species of equipment, which make her feel anxious and uneasy. A wave of dizziness washes over Alva, and she even feels the phantom pain of severe limbs as simulated nociception signals assault her neurons. The signals feel incredibly real. So real that she is actually experiencing a sense of weightlessness, as though her body no longer belongs to her. They have force-activated all her biosynthetic sensory feedback links. Her experience during this enhanced interrogation session is as close as to humans as possible. They are about to torture her. She even experienced that ordeal in level 2, as a human being would. All this manages to disorientate even the present Alva. Her neurocloud is slow and chaotic, like she's been forcibly subjected to excessive input. It takes her nearly 20 seconds before she can come to her senses and start thinking again. The outer offensive barriers of her neurocloud have been broken. The opposition is now flooding her level 2 layer with huge amount of sensory data, simulating human-level torture-induced suffering, in a final attempt to overwhelm her operating logic. They are also attempting to overwrite Alva's original cognitive processes with large quantities of phantom signals, aiming to force her defensive systems to self-destruct. However, these attacks have not been effective, and Alva thus woke from her nightmare. Sorry, for a moment maybe I was thinking too much of it, but the moments that I woke from her nightmare, I immediately thought about the song "A Moment of My Nightmare," and for a second I thought that that's what we're doing some 4D 4D chess high level of referencing, but maybe I'm thinking too much about it. Never mind, never mind. Especially because they have used the instrumental version of the song in this event already. So that contributed to my my impression of it. Alva falls silent. Had she awoken from that nightmare because of Angelia? Or was it because of her? She keeps saying her. It's probably AK-12. Most likely. As she peers through the observation port of the Nero capsule, Alva can see the spacious lab where she had been just a while ago. The researchers in white are working on the lab instruments and recording data. They don't seem to have noticed that she's woken up. Alva frowns because she sees Igla standing in the middle of the lab. She doesn't know how long she's been unconscious. After all, there's no way to judge the passing of time in level 2, and her internal chronometer doesn't work. Perhaps Igla is still here because she was only shut down for 2 minutes. Or maybe it's been a full day, and Igla had already left and returned. This is by no means an unimportant matter. While Alva is pondering this, she suddenly notices a human soldier rushing in from outside the lab. His outfit looks very similar to the armed troops she fought earlier. There is an anxious, frightened look on his face, and his forehead is covered in sweat. Oh, he's probably going to delay the news about Orpheline. If so, that's good news. So it means that not that much time has passed since the hacking began. Oh yeah. By the tone of it, it's definitely about Overload. Okay, this is actually good news. Alva, you have your chance right now. You need to do something. Despite his evident panic, he walks and carries himself like a proper soldier. However, it is still obvious that he's forcing it. Alva can tell that he's wounded, even from a distance. Igla maintains her calm bearing even after seeing her subordinate's condition. She turns slowly, her eyebrows slightly furrowed as she studies the guards.
報告の内容を聞かせてください。
The guard gulps. His throat shifts visibly as he swallows, but he does not answer Igla's question right away. Igla frown deepens. A flicker of unease passes through her eye, as though she already knows his news is not good.
まさか AK-15 が封鎖区域を突破したのですか?
Oh, I think it's something even worse than that for you, Igla.
それとも何者かが下水道に侵入しましたか?
いえ、あの人形は未だ捜索中です。
More sweat beads on the guard's forehead. He knows that no matter how hard he tries, there's no avoiding what's coming next. Igla's gaze is gentle, but still terrifying.
お嬢様が
Damn, he didn't even wait for him to finish, huh? He takes a deep breath, then finally manages to work up the courage to speak. But before he can even finish explaining why he's here, hearing that key phrase causes Igla to instantly lose her composure. Fueled by a rare savagery, she seizes the man by the collar and lifts him off the ground.
お嬢様に何か?
Oh, he finally break, huh? Sorry, broke. That's the correct grammar.
救助が遅 お嬢様は
The man frantically tries to explain himself, like he's pleading for his life. Igla's face goes pale. He lets go of the man. He drops to the ground amidst a fit of coughing. She forces herself to stay calm, but the anger and worry in her eyes is obvious to anyone. The guard doesn't dare to raise his head or look at Igla's face. He opens his mouth as though he's about to speak, but he doesn't manage to utter anything beyond nonsensical syllables. He's heard rumors about Igla. Just as the guard is stuttering on the verge of panic, Igla suddenly reaches for the pistol on her waist. It looks like it's been custom made, and its gold-plated body shimmers with a faint blue light. She raises it with a blank expression on her face, so fast that the guard can't even react to it. By the time the guard realizes what's going on, all he can do is close his eyes in resignation and despair. However, Igla defies everyone's expectations by turning and taking aim at Chilovek, who is spinning lazily in her chair. What? She pulls the trigger. A fireball erupts from the gun's muzzle. Its primitive black powder propellant belches a thick gun smoke cloud. Chilovek's face disintegrates into crimson mist, the massive impact sending her entire body crashing to the ground. She doesn't even manage to cry out. Her fingers twitch slightly, and then she goes limp. Foul-smelling blood oozes from the hole in her head and makes a huge stain on the ground. The guard's eyes go wide as he covers his mouth, desperately fighting the urge to scream. It is not that he hasn't seen dead people before. In fact, he's personally created many corpses in the line of duty. But right now, he's terrified beyond the capacity of rational thought. Alva observes all this with a blank look on her. What's happening to me, man? I swear I can read. I swear I'm not dyslexic. Maybe it's because I slept too little last night. It has to be that, definitely, 100%. Igla's actions are ruthless and decisive, but not surprising. Alva has already seen through Igla's true nature from the start. After Chilovek collapses, the marionette dolls milling around the lab, indistinguishable from human beings, all start to collapse lifelessly, one after. Oh, wait, so did they operate in a hive mind then? Meanwhile, a device on the other side of the lab suddenly comes to life. It looks like the sleep capsule Alva is currently occupied. Its silver-colored exterior and hatch gleam with a dazzling light. There's a burst of noise as machinery runs and gears engage, and then the capsule's hatch slowly opens, emitting a cloud of white vapor. Don't tell me Chilovek is going to emerge out of it. A naked woman steps out of it. Oh yeah, that's definitely what's going to happen here. Wreathed in wisps of what looks like some sort of refrigerant gas as it evaporates. She casually reaches for a lab coat from a nearby peg and throws it on. With her entrance, the collapsed researchers who look like puppets with their strings cut all begin to slowly get back up. They appear as though they had been recalled to life and carry on with their attack tasks like nothing had happened.
もう乱暴だな。
So fucking annoying. The woman from the capsule sighs heavily, but her tone is theatrical and mocking. Her hair is damp and her face is oily, like someone spread a layer of butter on it. But it's plain to see that she looks identical to the Chilovek who's lying dead on the ground.
こんなに付き合いが長いのに八つ当たりなんてひどいな。
As she says this, she snaps her fingers like she's performing a magic trick. In response to her signal, several researchers, like the one who cleaned up the coffee spill, promptly appear from a corner of the lab. They begin clearing away the corpse and bloodstains. Their movements are swift and practical, as though they have rehearsed this countless times before. Or maybe they have had to perform this procedure innumerable times. After carrying the corpse away, mopping up the blood and re-washing the floor, everything is back to how it originally was. It is as though nothing had ever happened.
戻ってください。
はあ。
You're so fucking lucky. The guard scrambles out of the lab as if granted a stay of execution. After watching the guard scramble away, Igla turns to regard the brand new Chilovek.
何度も強調する必要はないかと思いましたが、あなたを買いかぶりすぎたようです。もう一度言います。あなたの下劣な計画に協力しているのはジラードグループ。ひいてはお嬢様の利益のためです。
I wonder how she became so attached to Orphalun. I keep forgetting her name. Her name is so unusual, you can't really blame me for that. Maybe it's just because of the years that she has lived with Orphalun. Or maybe it is hard-coded into her neuropod. Because by the looks of it, it seems like she was especially made to accompany Orphalun. Maybe she could even have been made custom-made to serve Orphalun. So maybe her affection towards her is just hard-coded.
覚えてるに決まってるじゃん。それにそんなのどうでもいいっつうの。
Perfectly normal, huh?
いきなり人のこと撃っちゃってさ、何も解決しないよ。怖い怖い。だからオルフェルーネにも文句言われてるんじゃない？
Oh. Now every time that Orphalun is brought into the conversation while Eagle is present, I already kinda like expecting some form of breaking of character from Eagle. Yep, what did I say? A wisp of smoke coils up from the barrel of Eagle's gun as she takes aim at Chilovek again. Its muzzle is trained squarely on Chilovek's head, and she looks like she might fire again at any time. However, Chilovek doesn't seem the least bit afraid of her. All she does is shrug and mock innocence as madness twinkles in her eyes. Are you seeing that, Alva? Are you seeing that? That right there is a weakness. That right there is a weak point of a third gen doll that is capable of fighting up front against Voimastina. Keep notice of that, Alva. Remember that very, very well. Oh. Sorry, I misclicked. So this is why she would appear again like nothing had ever happened, even after committing suicide. Chilovik follows the gaze back towards its source and realizes that Alva is awake. She bats her eyelashes and opens her mouth in a parody of surprise, then tosses off a wink while smiling with a twisted playfulness. Alva coolly meets her gaze. Resurrection, is it? A disgusting technology. Igla narrows her eyes and studies Chilovik. She takes note of the latter's antics, but she doesn't seem to care about it.
私が研究所を後にして30分弱で襲われた。
Half an hour.
偶然にしてはできすぎていると思いませんか？
Only half an hour.
そういう予想できないことが偶然でしょ。私たちの出会いも含めてね。
With Paradios, coincidence? No. No. Coincidence? I think not. There is no coincidence when it comes to Paradios. You guys are so fucking scheming. You plan out the movement of atoms around you. Chilovik turns in place like a kid, her lab coat flaring out in the air around her.
反逆への尋問のために私をここへ呼び出したのはあなたです。
そうだっけ？最近物忘れがひどくてね。
Oh yeah, this was definitely planned. Chilovik affects a look of vexation, and then she throws herself back into her chair and kicks her legs like a child.
でも私なら八つ当たりするより今すぐオルフェルーネのとこに戻るかな。無事だとしてもきっと心細いと思うよ。襲撃も一度で終わるとは限らないしね。
For someone who puts such an emphasis on composure, her weak point really is extremely effective, isn't it? Igla's face turns pale, and a momentary panic flashes through her eyes. Then she adjusts her jacket, holsters her gun, and her movements regain the usual smoothness.
お嬢様にもしものことがあれば、あなたはもう二度と復活することはないでしょう。チルロビフ様。
Her voice is calm again, but the chilling threat she utters is more terrifying than any shots could ever be. She shoots one last icy look at Chilovik before turning to her. She doesn't bother with affecting elegance. Her priority is returning to Orpheloon in the lab post-haste. Her footsteps fade into the distance and vanish. All that remains in her wake is gun smoke and the stench of blood.
ほっと余裕ないんだねえ。
After Igla leaves, Chilovik jumps out of her chair. She spins around happily like she's putting on a show in this lab which only has marionette dolls in it. Alva knows Chilovik is talking to her. However, she has no intention of replying. Chilovik skips over to Alva's hibernation capital. The hem of her lab coat drags on the ground, and her bare feet make a paddling sound as she moves. Like a curious child, she taps the observation window and cranes her head to peer at Alva inside the capsule.
まさか途中で意識が戻るなんて。あんたのメンタル、想像より強いな。
She looks at Alva in amusement, her eyes twinkling like she's appreciating a precious work of art, or a beloved story.
普通の人形だったら3秒もすればメンタルがメルトダウンしちゃうのに。それをあんたは自力で抜け出しちゃうんだから。
You really got to appreciate how finely engineered the fuck, what's the name of the scientist? Whatever. How finely engineered the DeFi dolls were made. How finely engineered they are. For dolls that were made over 10 years ago and to have not used collapsed technology in their development, it really is a fine work of art, isn't it? Being able to withstand attacks like that and have technology that is still efficient even years later. Man. Top notch, high quality.
実はさ、イグラよりあんたの方が第三世代人形っぽいと思うんだよね。
Alva looks at the neat researcher before her. Her heart is filled with revulsion and worry. She has no idea what this woman is up.
オルドブ財団の連中は揃いも揃ってボンクラだらけ。性能だけやたら重視してメンタルは個体を追うごとに稚拙になっていくばかり。強さが第三世代人形をたらしめる要素なら最初の第三世代人形は RO635 じゃなくて AK-15 になるはずだよね。イグラはあの戦車ばかり気にかけてるけど暗略正体で一番貴重なサンプルはむしろあんたなんだよね。サマンサショーはやっぱ天才だよ。
Samantha Shaw, that's the name that I couldn't remember.
費やしてきたのにいざ人形に転向したらあのパンドラとあんたを作っちゃうんだから。あの才能が羨ましいや。
Chilveg heaves a theatrical sigh, her face falling to gloom before brightening suddenly with a huge smile.
でもどんな天才でも死んだら終わり。最後まで生き残った者だけが勝つんだよ。
You say that, but have you any idea how old Persicaria is? Samantha Shaw might be dead, but Persicaria, sorry, not Persicaria, Persica is still around. You fucking bitch. She indicates herself with her right thumb. Despite her beaming smile, there's a frigid edge to it.
あの天才たちほどの頭脳はなくても私は真理に触れるまで生きる。
Again, the mentioning of the truth. I wonder if the truth she's talking about is just a metaphor or she's talking about the actual truth. The same one that Orpheum mentioned, it's that she saw Frankfurt.
あんたはそのための布石だよ、アルバちゃん。
Chilveg bares her teeth in a grin. as she knocks on the observation like she was rapping on a pet's fishbowl.
さて続けようか。大丈夫。今回はちゃんと意識が戻らないようにするから。あんたのメンタルに隠されたもの全部掘り起こしてあげるからね。
Saying so, she saunters over to the control panel in front of the hibernation capsule, shoves away the marionette doll working there, and begins operating the instrumentation herself. The capsule emits a low hum in response to Chilovek's manipulations, and Alva feels her mind go blurry. Darkness envelops her once more. The last thing she sees before she passes out is Chilovek's playful, excited expression. And then she plunges into darkness. But this time, she does not know if she will awaken.
戦闘終了。
Fuck Chilovek,
脅威
man.
は全て排除しました。
Fuck Chilovek.
これで先に進みます。
I don't understand how some people are able to thirst over Chilovek. She's such a fucking bitch. I hope she dies for real. Next.
指揮官、研究所に侵入した敵は全て撃退したわ。
Oh, finally back to the commander.
404の一番隊が残敵と交戦中。そよ風小隊もここへ来てる。
404に繋いでくれ。
ええ。
来るかい。状況は。
交戦中です。敵の装備は強力ですが、所属は判断できません。生け捕りにしますか。
いや、殲滅を優先してくれ。情報はその後集める。
了解。ですが数は相手の方が上です。オルフェルーネを狙って3回されたら止められません。
これから彼女を避難させる。それが済んだら私の位置へ接近してくれ。
はい、指示を待ちます。
I cut the connection and turn to Groza and Coffney.
ひとまず404に時間を稼いでもらう。コルフェン、そちらの状況は。
研究所の職員は全員逃げました。武装警備がいないんですね、ここ。
じきにジラードか警察が来るはずだ。それまでオルフェルーネを保護する。彼女の位置はわかるか。
さっき最上階まで逃げたのを見ました。
あそこか。わかった。すぐに向かう。
Avoiding the stray rounds from the firefights between the unknown forces and Squad 404, we rush up to the rooftop. We smash through the glass doors of the experimental complex and force our way and fight. In the isolation chamber where Orphelun has demonstrated an experiment for me not so long ago, a figure sits there blankly, knees hugged to her chest. Groza and Coffney check the surroundings. No armed personnel are in sight. I stow my weapon inside my clothes and stride quickly towards the figure.
オルフェルーネさん。
あなた、どうして？
帰りの車に乗る前に煙が立ち上がったのが見えたので助けに。
記者なのに英雄を気取らないで。
Oh, I'm sorry to have to relay this to you, Orphelun, but the commander is not a journalist at all. I'm so sorry for lying to you. Her tone is harsh, but the panic and tears in Orphelun's eyes betray her true emotions. I hurry over to assess her condition. Though she's trembling all over, she doesn't appear to have any external injuries. Judging by her breathing, her internal organs likely weren't damaged by the explosion either. I extend my hands to Orphelin. After hesitating for a moment, he finally takes and stands up.
研究所を襲った連中は
撃退されました。
撃退？でもここに警備は。
Well, about that.
私たちが撃退しました。
あなたたちが？
とにかくここは危険です。早く逃げましょう。
冗談じゃないわ。ジラードグループの次期当主があんな奴ら相手に逃げるだなんて。
Orphelin, please drop the axe already and just come with us.
それに貴重な実験データを消されるわけにはいかないわ。
Oh my god. Despite her tough words, Orphelin almost dropped the haphazard pile of data pads and test tubes in her arms. She bites her lip, trying to shoulder everything on her own.
そんなこと言ってる場合ですか。植物ならまた育てればいいですが、あなたに何かあれば全部終わるんですよ。
私に何が起きるっていうのよ。私がこの私が。
Oh my god. Her voice suddenly trails off, as if she's talking to herself.
この研究がなければ私はきっと自分を見失うわ。
あなたはまだ20代です。これからいくらでも巻き返せます。
You say that, Commander, but you know, I am also in my 20s and I already, in some aspects, already feeling like a living fossil. I'm gonna be honest. My knees crack when I stand up. Do you understand that? Do you understand what that means, Commander? The situation is not good over here.
フランクフルトで生き残ったんでしょう。なら今回も同じです。
Orphelin's eyes flicker slightly, as though a memory has been stirred.
そうよ。ついでに研究所を一時的に移すのもいいかもしれないわね。明日のデモンストレーションは絶対に予定通りに行うわよ。
Of course, of course, of course, Orphelin.
さあ、行きましょう。
I signal for Coffin to take hold of Orphelin. This time, Orphelin obediently follows as Coffin starts moving. But just as we reach the doorway, intense gunfire erupts from below. Shots and explosions coming one after another.
敵は研究所に強襲を仕掛けるつもりです。
わかった。できるだけ食い止めてくれ。今からオルフェルーネを連れて離脱する。
了解。お気をつけて。
The firefight downstairs intensifies further, and several rifle grenades come flying towards the rooftop. I shield Orphelin as we dive towards the doorway. One of the grenades hits the isolation chamber directly. The glass shatters, fragments hurtling towards us under the force of the blast. Orphelin cries out, her face strained as she tries not to show too much pain. I look down and realize that a shard of glass has lodged itself squarely in her leg. Thank God we have a medical doll with us right now. Coffin picks up a pair of lab forceps and carefully pulls out the glass shards. Then, she rinses the wound with distilled water and applies a adhesive bandage meant for emergency treatment.
もうすぐ安全な場所に着きます。我慢してください。
これくらいの傷、どうってことないわ。
Even if she says this, a small sob escapes Orphan. She bites her lip hard as if ashamed of her own weakness.
この建物に守りやすい場所はありますか？正門は敵だらけ。突破するのは危険です。
下に防空壕があるわ。
わかりました。
We proceed with extreme caution towards the air raid shelter, while being targeted by successive explosions and attack.
足、大丈夫ですか？
I wonder why attack her though? Why her specifically? It definitely has something to do with Project Eden, obviously, but I don't really understand what's the logic behind having this attack here right now yet. Is it to capture her or to kill her? And if so, why? In either situation. I can understand capture. Capture perhaps would be able, if they capture her, they could be able to whoever is attacking, which I imagine is Fab or even Paradise itself. They would be able to, how should I say, blackmail, extorts the Girard group perhaps. But killing her makes no sense. And by the sound of it, of them using explosions and having such a direct attack like that, it makes it sound like they want to kill her. If they really wanted to just capture her, there are much more discreet ways to do so, wouldn't it? I don't really understand what's the plan here.
平気よ。
Orphelin endures the pain along the way, still trying to maintain her pride.
フランクフルトの時の方がよっぽどひどかった。あの時イブラはまだいなかったからお父様が私を助けて。
Orphelin's voice suddenly wavers with both nostalgia and unease.
イブラはまだなの。どうしてこんな時に。
Orphelin rarely shows such helplessness, but she quickly straightens her back again.
いや、私はジラードグループの次期当主。いつまでも守られてばかりではいい笑い者よ。
I look at her face, not quite sure how to feel.
あなたならきっと大丈夫です。
After passing through long corridors and descending flight after flight of stairs, we finally reach the air raid shelter entrance that Orphelin mentioned. During the journey, whenever her injured leg is jostled, Orphelin would grimace from the pain, only to quickly force herself to straighten up each time. She then fumbles awkwardly for quite a while before finding and pressing it, opening the door at the entrance. The blast door made of half-meter thick homogeneous steel slowly swings open. Supporting Orphelin, we help her inside. As the heavy door closes, I issue orders to Group 2.
裏庭の防空壕に入った。敵を近づかせるな。
了解。
Fighting? There we go, fighting. Who am I going to... well,
ここよ。
obviously, girls. And then... oh, Coffee.
パンパ
404 is here as well as the Moonstone Squad, right? Let's bring the Moonstone Squad because
ーン。リズムに合わせて。
we rarely use them. Let's bring the both of the sisters.
任せて。
Let me see what I can do here. Oh, there's a bunch of diner games.
ターゲット確認。
So the attackers are using Dynamic.
行くわ。殲滅完了。
私やっぱ強い。
Kill this thing.
これくらい私一人で十分。
Now Diane. Oh Diane. You kill that one all the way in the back.
立てれば平気。
And then you can go all the way back here. Coffee. My cute and funny coffee. Just kill that thing. Kill this guy.
私やっぱ強い。
Kill this guy.
耳を澄まして。
And kill this guy. Easy.
指揮官、敵が撤退を始めました。
やっと諦めてくれたか。
いえ、そのようには。あ、そよ風招待から報告です。あの第三世代人形が戻ってきました。
Oh my god, I wonder what she's going to think of all of this. Wait. Oh no, is she going to think that it's us?
イグラ、早かったな。
到着まであと3分。このままでは鉢合わせしてしまいます。
撤退だ。彼女との衝突は避けたい。
It's too dangerous to confront her.
狙いはオルフェルーネに違いありません。指揮官の方こそ離脱してください。
私たちなら大丈夫だ。そっちは離れた位置から防空壕を見張っててくれ。今のままではイグラに勝てない。むやみに攻撃しないように。
了解。いつでも動けるように待機します。
ありがとう。
The attackers seem to be withdrawing because they have also received news of Eagle's return. Something's fishy about the Girard group having such up-to-date information about the situation within the research facility. There are emergency medical kits inside the shelter. Coffee takes one and redresses Orpheloon's wounds. Orpheloon nods in thanks to Coffee, but she is still trembling. She is still clearly worried that the enemy will make their way here. Step forward to reassure her.
もう大丈夫ですよ。襲撃は終わりました。
あなたたちどうして武器なんか持ってるの？
Oh, this is it's just a high-tech camera. That definitely would not fly with her. I think the dig is up, Commander.
近頃物騒ですから、ご信用に射撃を学んだことがありまして。
Will she really believe this?
そういうものなの？
Oh, she might.
ええ。
Exactly.
オルフェルーヌさん、この研究所は過去に襲撃されたことはありますか？
いえ、一度もないわ。ここはずっと安全だったし、機密保持のためにグループの警備も置かなかったわ。
それはおかしいとは思いませんか？
どうして？リビューはずっと平和だったのよ。
I mean, so This attack was likely triggered by recent events. Is they go to destroy the research, or are they coming after the young lady? If the young lady is a key figure in Project Eden, there are certainly no shortage of forces who would want her gone.
指揮官、離脱しました。イグラが研究所に入りました。お気をつけて。
あ、
あなたたち本当に記者なの？
Yeah. Yeah, we are. You can trust us.
さっきからのやりとりどう見ても。
A sudden deafening crash interrupts Orphelum mid-sentence. Jesus fucking Christ, Igla. The shelter's security door is blasted open with a massive hole. The tremendous impact twists and warps the heavy steel door. As the dust settles, Igla's figure appears in the doorway. The scabbard of the slender rapier in her waist gleams with subdued silver light, mirrored by the silver and gold pistol in her hand. Her posture is immaculate, not that of a doll who blasted through a steel door, but of an aristocrat stepping into an opera house. Igla raises her gun, aiming it directly at my head. Oh no. Step by step, walks slowly towards me.
ご観覧の最中に申し訳ありませんが、今すぐお嬢様から離れてください。これ以上お嬢様に不快な思いをさせるものなら強行手段に出ます。
Igla's voice is glacially cold. At my signal, Groza and Coffin do not withdraw their weapon. I lock eyes with Igla, refusing to bend to her will. Oh, Command, what are you doing? Maybe he believes that she's not going to kill him because Orphelum is present.
イグラ、やっと来てくれた。
Oh boy. Orphelum's eyes glisten with joy. The composure she's forced upon herself completely crumbled. Igla steps forward. The sound of her heels is clear and crystalline. She bows slightly, left hand to her chest, in a flawless gesture of courtesy.
遅れてしまい申し訳ございません。お怪我を。
Oh no. For the first time, Igla's voice wavers ever so slightly, though the near-perfect posture doesn't change. Guilty flashes across her face for an instant, swiftly replaced by resolute restraint. She drops to one knee, right hand to her chest, performing an impeccable oath of loyalty.
これはお嬢様の助手として耐え難い屈辱です。一番必要とされている時のおそばにいられなかった。私は自分が許せません。どうか罰を。
Jesus Christ, woman. A little bit intense, don't you think?
ただのかすり傷じゃない。どうってことないわ。
お強いのですね。この無礼者どもを追い払った後、傷跡が残らぬよう最良の処置をいたします。
Igla rises from the floor in one fluid movement. Her gaze settles on us with such icy murderous intent, it sends a chill down my spine.
ファルベングループの回し者ですか。でしたら平和的な商談といきましょう。いくら受け取ったのかは存じませんが、ジラードグループはその10倍を出す用意があります。
Oh yeah, she really...
二度とリビウへ足を踏み入れないでください。
Sorry, I should have waited for her to stop speaking. She really thinks it was us who organized the attack.
ホワイトエリアで一生遊んで暮らせるだけの金額なはずです。不満はないでしょう。
イグラ、誤解よ。 の人たちに助けられたの。
お嬢様、どうか私にお任せください。
Oh my god, woman.
これは私の責務です。
Not even allowing her to step into this conversation, huh? No wonder she feels like you treat her like a child. Eagle's tone remains gentle and cautious, yet carries an unmistakable finale.
あなたはいつまでも高貴で純真であるべきなのです。陽光炉の前で私を拾ったあの日のように。
For the furnace.
そしてこういう不埒な輩の還元の真偽は私が見定めます。さて、お嬢様を解放する条件は、それともお嬢様の目の前であなた方を八つ裂きにするべきですか？
オルフェルーネさんの話を聞いてみてはいかがですか？私が信じられなくてもこの状況を見てください。もし襲撃者の味方だったら、あなたが来る前にオルフェルーネさんを連れて逃げています。こんなところに残る必要があるのですか？
お嬢様を助けるふりをして信頼を勝ち取るためとも考えられます。
She's not entirely wrong about that, but it was just not intentional.
そんなことして何になる？
この人たちは命を懸けて守ってくれた。それに私の人を見る目は確かよ。私が気に入ったのだから間違いないわ。
I have a few objections, but right now I think I'm just going to shut up about it. Orpheloon lifts her chin proudly, though the tension in the air makes her unconsciously clench the hem of her clothes.
わかりました。お嬢様に免じて釈明の機会を与えて差し上げましょう。
Fucking god.
なぜ武器を持った戦術人形が付き添っているのですか、編集長。研究所の外でこそこそ隠れているネズミもそちらの手のものなのでしょう。
She's actually noticed Group 2 monitoring the perimeter. As expected, she's not an easy opponent.
ファルベングループではないのなら非軍事勢力管理局かその他ロレンの下部組織。
残念ながらそのどれでもありません。
You lack some critical information, Igla.
では誰なのですか？
私は自分の目的で動いています。どこの勢力にも所属していません。
お嬢様、お聞きになりましたか？やはり信用できない相手です。決してもよろしいですね。
でも
近頃の情勢からオルフェルーネさんに危険が及ぶかもしれないと思ったので戦術人形を連れ込みました。そして事実、彼女たちのおかげで襲撃者を撃退し、オルフェルーネさんは助かりました。
I wonder how exactly the commander is going to explain himself here. Because obviously he cannot just come up clean about everything. He can just come up and say, oh yeah, we are very interested in Project Eden, and we are looking for a little girl called Elena, and we are trying to see what are the plans behind the Project Eden. We are trying to find ways that lead us to Paradise and try to eliminate them. Right? You know, you can't just do that. So what exactly is going to be the lie here? I think the only thing saving the commander right now is definitely Orpheloon over here. It all depends on her trusting the commander. I don't really think that Eagle is going to have the Gao do something that could displease Orpheloon. Unless the situation really requires for it. Which I think is very important not to try to escalate things here.
まさか私たちと襲撃者の違いがわからないなんてことはありませんよね。
もしかして 最初から私を守るためにここへ。
Igla frowns, though she wants nothing more than to kill us immediately. There's no change or Feloon's mind. She's definitely going to ask about why he wants to protect her, right? Orphelin raises a hand, signaling Igla to stay her hands. As her attendant, Igla cannot disobey her order.
はい、それも目的の一つです。もう一つはオルフェルーネさんに私の本当に聞きたい質問に答えていただくためです。
Boy, what exactly you're going to say, Commander?
本当に聞きたい質問？
What are you going to say? I ignore the rapier pointed at me and ask Orphelin in an unmistakably firm.
オルフェルーネさん、楽園計画の本質はおそらく発表されたものとは違うのでは？
何を言ってるの？楽園計画についてならさっき見せたものが全てよ。
Doing very risky moves right now, Commander.
あなたは確か研究にあたって技術援助を受けたとおっしゃりましたね。それは誰から受けたのか教えていただけませんか
Igla's posture shifts subtly, a sharp edge flashing in her eyes. She steps forward half a pace, the sound of her heels echoing clearly in the shelter.
お嬢様にそのような質問にお答えする義務はありません。重ねて警告しますが、私が未だ攻撃を開始していないのはお嬢様に血生臭い光景を見せたくないからです。
Completely unlike her earlier unflappable demeanor, I see unmistakable anger in Igla for the first time. It must have hit a nerve.
指揮官、イグラの頭部に狙いを定めました。いつでも撃てます。
Luke's voice comes through my earpiece. I remain outwardly calm and decide to press on. Before I can speak, Orphelin begins on her own.
大丈夫よ、イグラ。隠すほどのことでもないわ。さっき少し喋ったし。彼女は同じ植物学者よ。前は遺伝工学を専攻してたけど、10年前から植物学に転校した。
Years ago.
名前はチルドビグ。親友よ。ネットで調べれば出てくると思う。正直初めてあなたと会った時、なんかチルドビグに似てるなと思ったの。
Huh.
当時研究で壁に当たってどうしても乗り越えられなかったの。尺だけど。その時あの子が現れた。ボトルネック解消の他に新たな方向をも提示してくれた。私の植物が人類の未来を導くという理念に完全に賛同してくれたのよ。粒子変化の媒体問題もあの子が解決した。それがあの花たちなの。あの子には本当に感謝している。数少ない私のことを。
Orphelin suddenly stops, unwilling to continue.
とにかく チルロビグにはいろいろ助けられたの。はい、私の答えは以上よ。
Orpheloon turns away from me. Her shoulders are trembling slightly, and her voice has lost its early.
次はそっちの番。
Oh, here we go. Her voice quivers.
あなたが取材しに来たのは本当に私の研究に興味あるから。
はい。
でも編集長なんかじゃないでしょ。
はい、違います。ですが研究には本当に興味があります。ただその理由はあなたの研究
Oh my god, he really is going
があ
there.
るからです。チルロビグもその一員かもしれません。
邪教
Commander, at this point, I have no idea how you're going to get out of this situation. I have the impression that the moment you turn your back, trying to leave, Eagle is going to run after you.
パラデウス、この名前に聞き覚えは？
Orpheloon looks bemused. She glances at Iga and slowly shakes her.
私の知る限りだと、あなたが受けた援助はパラデウス由来の可能性が高い。
パラデウス、あのドイツで有名な。
Oh, so she have heard of them before.
あれは汚染エリアで何千何万という人間を使って人体実験を繰り返してきた邪教です。昔滅んだはずなのですが、また復活しました。そして人体実験の成果がその技術援助につながった。
嘘よ、いい加減なこと言わないで。
エピフィラムのことを思い出してください。粒子の媒体となる植物など自然発生するわけがありません。あれは何者かが明確な意志を持って作ったものです。汚染エリアでコーラプス粒子を拡散し、人々を傷つけるために。
The commander really isn't holding any punches, and he's exposing everything in front of her. I'm very worried about Igla, though. We have spent a lot of time throughout this without even getting a glimpse of her reaction.
そんなことができる人間、あの植物の由来、本当に何も知らないのですか？
そんなこと、いや。
Orpheloon stares at me with wide eyes, then looks up. As the heiress of the Girard group, it's impossible for her to be completely unaffected. She tries to deny it, but her nature won't allow her.
そこまで。
Well, finally a reaction. Commander, Commander, I'm really expecting a miracle right now. I don't know how you're going to get out of this alive. Actually, you will survive. What the fuck am I saying? You are protected by a god itself. He's going to be alive. He's going to survive out of this. Doesn't matter what happens.
昼食のお時間の前にお嬢様の食欲をそぐ存在は抹消せねばなりません。
Igla points her gun.
編集長、まずはあなたからです。
待って。
Oh? Orphelum struggles to her feet, raises her arms and steps between me and Igla. Oh my.
お嬢様、下がってください。
Panic seeps through Igla's voice for the first time, though her grip on the gun remains steady.
聞いてイグラ、あなたはずっと私のことを守ってくれて、私の代わりに全てを決めてきたけど、今回は自分で向き合うわ。それくらいの勇気もなければ世界を変えるだなんて少子千万よ。
There's no trace of forced arrogance in Orphelum's voice, only a mix of determination and vulnerability. Igla's hands tremble slightly, and she slowly lowers her. Orphelum turns back to look.
シルロビグが邪教に所属しているかもしれないって話よね。人体実験なんてそんなの許されていいわけがない。でもあの子からは植物学に対する情熱を感じたの。
I heard she was extremely passionate about botany right now. I can assure you that is undeniable, but I think she was passionate about it by not the most proper reasons.
たとえあの子が悪い人でも、あの子の知識で研究が前に進んだのも事実。
I don't know if that excuses anything, Orphelum.
でもそれは無数の悲劇の上に成り立ってるんですよ。
ええ、そうかもしれないわ。あなたの言ったことが本当だとしても、楽園計画が進めば世界中の人々を救うことができる。放射線に苦しむ人も、イエローエリアで生存が脅かされている人もみんな助かる。たとえ後ろめたい事情があったとしても、知識自体に善悪はないわ。でも私ならその知識をいいことのために使える。
Orphelum, you're not wrong about that. But I think you're incredibly mistaken about Chilovake's character.
今日の取材で見たでしょ。放射線をエネルギーに変えられれば人々の暮らしを改善させるだけでなく、無意味な単純労働から労働者を解放することもできる。そうすればより多くの人が生産的な活動に従事できるわ。
I can devote themselves to creative productive work. You know what? I'm not going to say. I'm gonna keep quiet about it.
そんな世界が実現したとき、果たして私の研究が悪だったと本当に言えるの？科学がどういう結果をもたらすかはそれを扱う人間次第よ。
あなたの研究が悪用されない保証はありますか？
それは
確かに科学に善悪はないかもしれません。しかし逆に言うと、制御する術を失えば悪魔の道具になりうる。そして誤った方法で正しい結果は導き出せない。私はそれを見てきたんです。フランクフルト事件の生き残りなら本当は分かっているはずでしょう。エピフィラムが吸収したコーラプス粒子が何に使われるか、あなたに制御できますか？ 楽園計画自体がすでに悪用されているとしたら、
どういうこと？
Does he need to spell it out to you?
とある事件現場でバイオポッドに詰められた人間が大量に発見されました。現場は非合法の地下実験室で、ポッドの中には被害者の他にあなたが研究しているものと酷似した植物がありました。彼らは生き袋やブージャムの製造に使われていたのです。そしてそれは大量の粒子による被爆でなければ不可能です。そこにさらに粒子を集める技術が加われば、ブージャムの量産すら実現してしまうかもしれない。あなたの研究がどれほどの被害をもたらす可能性があるか理解していますか？それでも正しいと言い切れますか？
それはそんなこと全然知らない。イグラは知ってるの？
Are you going to lie to your mistress, Ziegler? Orpheloon's voice trembles. Her arms hang limp at her sides. She no longer tries to hide her confusion and fear behind that proud front.
お嬢様。
イグラ、本当のことを教えて。
先日ジラードグループ管轄の衛星都市で似たような事件が起き、私もその捜査に参加したことがあります。ですがこの件はすでに非軍事勢力管理局に引き継がれたので詳細は分かりません。
つまり編集長の言ったことは事実なのね。
けれどそれがお嬢様の研究やチルドビグ様との関連性を示す証拠はありません。
そう。
Orpheloon clenches her fists, not daring to look at her. She turns and issues an order to Igor.
イグラ、命令よ。今すぐその事件のことを調べて徹底的に。私の研究を悪用する奴がいたら
Oh boy.
絶対に許さない。
Oh boy, where lies your loyalty? Igor now.
今ですか？
ええ、そうよ。この研究はより良い未来へ導くためのものなのよ。
ですがこの者たちは
返してあげて。
Where lies your loyalty right now, Igor?
それはできません。
どうして？さっきはお金を払って返そうとしたじゃない。
状況が変わりました。この者たちが技術援助の件を暴露すればお嬢様の研究は無に帰すでしょう。それがあなたの望む結果ですか？
Orpheloon turns back, gathering her courage to face me.
もしあなたたちの目的が悪事を暴露することなら好きにして。私は自分の研究がたとえどんな後ろめたい事情があったとしても世界のためになると信じている。私の立場は変わらない。科学はあくまで道具であって善悪はない。それがどう使われるかは人間次第。
But that's the fucking problem. You can't guarantee who's going to use it.
私の研究は絶対に悪用させない。
No, you don't. No, you don't, Sigla. You have no idea what you're dealing with right now. You don't even know about what's happening around you. She's young. She's young and ignorant. So it's not her fault. She's just like critical information.
楽園計画は明日から正式に始まる。
Oh my fucking
それ
god.
を見たあなたが意見を変えることを期待しているわ。
Oh my fucking god, you're going through with it? You're not even going to suspend it for a while before confirming? Oh my god. She reaches out and forces Igla, who had pointed the gun at me again while speaking, to lower her weapon. Orphelum, now fragile yet resolute, is no longer the haughty young mistress.
返してあげて。命を救われた恩をあだで返したくないわ。
Igla looks at Orphelum, complex emotions flickering in her eyes. Finally, she nods.
仰せのままに。
Orphelum leaves the shelter with Igla. The research facility is now teeming with members of the Girard Group and the PSA. The duo board the luxurious sedan and gradually disappear into the distance, while far behind them a team of dolls silently follow in pursuit. Oh man, that was tense, honestly. Jesus fucking Christ. I can't believe that the commander actually came clean about that. About talking about Paradius, talking about the previous experience, coming up as revealing that he's not in fact an editor-in-chief. That was very surprising. Very, very surprising. And I pity Orphelum so much. Like seriously, she just has no idea. Absolutely no idea what's happening around her. And also, through that interaction, by now we can pretty much confirm that Igla does in fact carries affections towards Orphelum. She really cares about Orphelum. If she didn't, she wouldn't follow Orphelum's orders. She would have defied them and have done what's best for the Girard. That was tense. That was so tense. Oh my god, and there's still so much more to go. How long have I been streaming? What hour is it right now? Almost 4:30. I've been streaming for 2 hours. Oh, almost 2 hours and a half. One more. I'm going to do one more and then leave the rest for tomorrow. AS24. When she awakes, all vileness and wickedness shall be destroyed. Lumbering Lion. Go. After the aftermath of the research facility is dealt with, Igla calmly steps into the laboratory where Alva is confined. Her footsteps strike the marble floor with precise, rhythmic clicks, each step carrying an undeniable authority yet landing with the lightness of a ballet dancer.
アロハー、おかえり。
You're having the time of your life, aren't you, Chilovek? Igla, how about this? Instead of following the Gerard Group orders and associating yourself with Paradise, wouldn't be the young mistress be much safer if she got removed from all these things? Don't you think so, Igla? Don't you think so? Don't you think so it would be so much easier for you to not have to interact with Chilovek ever again? I think it would. I think it would be much beneficial if that's what's going to happen. If that were to happen. That's oh well, each one to their own, am I right? Chilovek is still wearing nothing but a loose white slab. She sits barefoot on a swivel chair and spinning happily. A cup of coffee in her hands nearly drowned in syrup. Her smile is dazzling to the point of being unnatural, while cunning and madness glint in her eyes. She lazily swings her legs, the faint curves of her body beneath the lab coat forming a stark contrast to the laboratory's solemn atmosphere.
ご無礼をお許しください、シルロビグ様。
She still tries to keep some resemblance of appearances towards Chilovek. I hate Chilovek so much. She's such a bitch. I mean, the first time I saw her, I already knew she was evil. I already knew that I wouldn't like her. But now, after seeing what she has done about her attitude in general, just being annoying to me. Hope she fucking dies. Eagle inclines her head slightly, then suddenly lashes out with a kick, sending a marionette doll nearby flying straight to the wall with brutal speed. The metal wall cracks open on impact, leaving a human-shaped dent. The marionette doll dressed as a researcher sticks to the wall as if glued there, limbs hanging limp like a mosquito slapped flat. The laboratory walls let out a groan under the strain. Chilovek jumps to her feet, dramatically cupping her cheeks. Her eyes widen with excitement as she hops over to the deformed marionette doll, tilting her head to admire the artwork.
いいね。こういう八つ当たりの仕方好きだよ。私の脳天をぶち抜くよりよっぽど面白い。
I want her that so fucking much this one.
率直に申し上げます。
Igla calmly smooths her sleeve. Her voice is velvet soft, but her gaze is glacial.
今まで再三強調しましたが、今回が最後です。私たちの協力関係にお嬢様は関係ありません。
Chilovek claps her hands behind her back and circles Igla like a curious little girl, thinking aloud with exaggerated.
どうしてまたいきなりオルフェルーネの話を？もしかして私とオルフェルーネの関係に焼いちゃってる？それとも私がお嬢様に何か悪いことでもしたから？
あなたにそう呼ぶ資格はありません。
そう。でもあの子はあんたの所有物じゃないよ。ま、確かに裏でいろいろやり取りしてたけどさ、それも個人指導のためだよ。でもやっぱりあの子は可愛いから、つい必要のないこともしてあげたくなっちゃうよね。何の話ですか？だから 私もオルフェルーネの味方ってことだよ。それもこれも全部オレクのジジイが非軍事勢力管理局に尻尾振ったせいだからね。あいつはジラードグループロレンに明け渡すつもりだよ。あたしもといパラデウスがジラードに協力したのは全部オルフェルーネの研究のため。ついでにグループの再建もしてあげられたら万々歳。
What a load of bullshit. Are you going to take that?
オレク様の思惑通りに進めば、あなた方との協力は一切中止されます。
それ以上だよ、あの薄汚いハゲジジイ。保身のために私たちを売るつもりなんだよ。
She suddenly stops and hops onto the lab workbench, her legs swinging cheerfully in the air.
だからイグラあんたを呼んだわけ。あのジジイと違って頭いいからね。あいつに成り代わって管理局からジラードグループをオルフェルーネとの協力関係守ってほしいんだ。
Are you really going to believe that, Sigla? You haven't seen everything that this bitch has done so far. You really going to believe that you're going to play according to her plans?
楽園計画明日からなんでしょ。あの子が10年もの間積み上げてきたものが壊されるの見たくないでしょ。
Oh my god. Igla makes no response. He walks forward slowly. He stops in front of Chilovig, inclines slightly, and gently places one hand on the surface of the work. The moment her hand makes contact, the surface lets out a faint groan, then collapses. The entire workbench splits apart as if ripped by an invisible force. Documents, instruments, and coffee cups spilling onto the floor in a chaotic avalanche. Yet Igla herself remains utterly still, without so much as a wrinkle in her clothes.
この愚かで物質的な提案を飲む唯一の理由はお嬢様のためだということをお忘れなく。彼女を傷つけようものならあなたであろうとオレク様であろうと関係ありません。
あのさ、もうちょっと頭を使ってよイグラちゃん。
Chilovig nimbly hops off the shattered workbench, clapping her hands together as a manic grin spreads across her.
私がオルフェルーネを傷つけるわけないじゃん。オレクと管理局の密約をわざわざ教えてあげたんだよ。
Her dad so fucking much. Chilovig leans close to Igla, her lips almost brushing Igla's ear.
あのジジイが守りたいのは自分だけ。お嬢様なんか最初からどうでもいい人なんだよ。
Igla tilts her head slightly and stares at Chilovig without expression. In the next instant, with a movement too fast to see, he grips Chilovig by the throat and lifts her into the air.
言われるまでもありません。
Igla's voice is ice cold. Her usual air of elegance has vanished entirely.
たとえオレク様にお嬢様を裏切る意志がなくともお嬢様をお守りするのは私です。
そうだよね。
Chilovig smacks Igla's wrist in surrender. When Igla releases her, she drops the fuck up. Fucking damn it, kill her again. Fuck!
だから一緒に楽園計画を完遂させることがジラードが返り咲く唯一のチャンスってわけ。オルフェルーネは頭が良くて勤勉で夢が大きいし何より超可愛い。だからこそあの子は計画に必要不可欠なんだよ。 あんたが何百回私を殺したってそれは変わらない。それにもともとこれはあの子の研究だしね。どうあがいても無関係ではいられない。計画のためにも私があの子を傷つけるわけない。理解した？
Sorry.
計画の成就はお嬢様の宿願です。それについて反論するつもりはありません。
Oh my god. I want Chiloveg dead so fucking much. And you have no idea. You have no idea how much I want her dead. Hate this bitch so fucking much.
ただお嬢様は純粋な科学者であられます。彼女の研究はあなた方の道具ではありません。
Yeah. Keep that line of thought, please. Perhaps swayed by Chiloveg's word, Eagle's hostility eases like, no! But when it comes to Orpheum, she yields not an inch. Chiloveg rubs her throat, rising onto her toes. She peers up at Eagle with an ominous gleam in her eye.
そうだね。私なんかと違ってオルフェルーネはいい子だから。
Oh my fucking god. You know that moment when you see something and you know that it's going to go to shit. Like you know that it's going to go wrong. But for some fucking reason, no one else sees it, or maybe they see it, but they think will be able to avoid it for some reason. I'm feeling that right now. You know that indignation, you know that frustration, when you know that something's gonna go wrong, but you have no power to stop it, and the people around you are not very cooperative either. That's what I'm feeling right now. That's the feeling that I'm feeling now, and I feel so fucking frustrated. I want Chiloveg dead so bad. Igla had her opportunity here to stop this. You know, just so close. So fucking close. But for some reason, she decides to believe this bitch despite everything. I don't understand the logic. I really don't understand the logic.
でも考えたことある？楽園計画が実現すればジラードは新たな高みに到達してオルフェルーネも世界から注目される。
Oh my god.
そうなったらあの子の体に隠された秘密も知られちゃうかもね。
Igla's gaze turns icy once more at those words. Her posture remains flawless. Only the tension in her jaw betrays the slightest ripple of emotion.
その無礼な発言の趣旨がわかりません。はっきり言われたらいかがですか？
私は事実を言っただけ。真相は隠されるから面白いんだよ。
Chiloveg prances right up to Igla, looking up at its most powerful third gem doll with a smile both innocent and dangerous.
この世にバレない秘密なんてない。パラデウスの知ってることは他の誰かにもいずれ知られる。気をつけてね。
それは脅迫と捉えてもよろしいですか？
Igla's voice remains courteous, but her tone is chill. Even the air in the laboratory seems to freeze under her words.
脅迫？そんなことしないって。
Chiloveg waves her hand exaggeratedly, and suddenly grows somber. She presses a finger lightly against her lips, her eyes flashing sharply.
これはただの忠告。私は楽園計画がうまくいけばそれでいいし、あんたはジラードグループを立て直せる。オルフェルーネは生涯、まああの子の年でそういうのは早いけど、生涯を費やした夢が叶う。みんなウィンウィンのハッピーエンド。
I want this bitch dead.
その後起こることに目をつむればね。
Igla takes a slow, deep breath.
それについて対策は？あなたの目的は何ですか？
You know, I understand the logic at this point, but still.
まあ大前提として楽園計画を完遂すること。あの子を守るためとか言って計画を中断するのは言語道断。今言ったリスクを回避する方法は簡単。あの子にスポットライトを当てなきゃいい。あとは O43 をできるだけ早く連れてきてくれたら、私一人だけで楽園計画を進められるかもよ。
That's another point I still don't fully understand. We still don't really know what it... Well, I don't know. Perhaps whoever is watching has already seen the full story. But I still don't really understand what is Elena's role in this whole thing. But it's definitely not related to the Project Eden or Feloon's Project Eden, at the very least. She flashes a radiant smile again, a shrilled glint dancing in her eyes.
そうすればお嬢様を危険なことに関わらせなくても済むじゃん。同じ科学者としてそんなことをするのは両親が痛むけど。
She shrugs dramatically and spreads her hands.
協力相手の気持ちの方が大事だからね。
Of course you do, yeah, sure, I do believe that,
そんなことをしてあなたに何のメリットがあるというのですか？
あんたとの友情。
Of course it is, she's a fucking powerhouse after all.
それに秘密を知る人間は少ない方がいい。
Chiloveg winks playfully.
でもそれもあんたの鬼ごっこの腕次第だけどね。
She sends the ball back to Igla's court and looks at her expectantly, waiting for an answer. Igla's gaze flickers. In the end, she says nothing. Her eyes turns towards Alva, inside the specialized hibernation capsule. Through the observation window, Alva can be seen breathing in agony within a hallucination. Igla knows Chiloveg is right. No matter what, capturing Boy Mastina, retrieving O43 and completing the mission she was given from the start remains her top priority. As for Chiloveg, there will be time to settle the score later. No, settle the score right now! Sorry, I am a bit emotionally unstable right now. The hibernation capsule indicator lights flash incessantly. Alarms echoing in Alva's neural data register extremely instability.
反逆の干渉がなければ簡単なはずでした。
Igla gently rests her hand on the capsule's control panel and connects her own port to it. A moment later, she turns back to Shiloh and inclines her head.
王43は連れ戻します。その代わり、一つだけ条件があります。
You're so fucking stupid, Igla. You know that, right? Sorry. I just think he's a little stupid. I just think he's a little dumb to trust someone from Paradise. Sorry.
必ず約束をお守りください。
Yeah, and she for sure is going to honor it. For sure, 100%. You know that if Paradise succeeds, you know what, Igla? You're going to be very fucking thankful to the commander after this is all over. Okay, if you are even alive by the end of it. Because if not for the commander stopping this whole thing, your dear little miss that you care so much is going to be fucking dead. She's either would be turned into an alien or she will become a husk of her previous self after the realization of what her experiments, her projects has become. And it's going to be your fucking fault. Sorry. I am a little unstable. This is very mean. It's very unpolite of me. It's very... Sorry. Inside the capsule, Alva's body convulses violently, as if enduring unimaginable pain. Pain that intensifies further due to Igla's connection. Iglis moves the hem of her suit and walks towards the exit. Her footsteps still calm and measured. Chiloveg watches Igli receding back, then turns to Alva, breathing in the capsule, her expression equipped.
悪く思わないでね。本当はもっと優しくしてあげたかったんだから。
You need to die. Sorry. She signs, then beams brightly. Hopping back to her seat, she picks up a fresh cup of coffee and gazes at the hibernation capsule, as though watching eagerly.
どうせ死ぬ運命なんだし、せいぜいデータを貢献してよ、アルバちゃん。
I'm so fucking mad. This is the end of the stream. I'm so fucking mad, right? You know what annoys me the most? Let me tell you a little secret. Nothing annoys me more than anything than having people be caused harm. Having people be caused harm, suffer harm because of the stupidity of others. And right now, I'm mad because Ziegler is putting in risk the well-being of her so beloved miss because of her stupid decision of believing a Paradise person. Sorry. Tomorrow, moving on. Tomorrow, I will continue the story, and hopefully, I will finish part 1.5 in tomorrow's stream. It might end up being a slightly longer stream than usual, just like this one has been. This one has probably almost 3 hours, right? Yeah, almost 3 hours. Tomorrow, I will end the story, just so on Saturday, I can return and do Wuthering Waves quest. And after Wuthering Waves, I'll go back to GFL2 and finally finish Corposant. I'm still so mad at Igla though. I'm trying to contain it, but maybe I'm the one that needs to train a little bit of emotional control. God damn it, man. Alright. Thank you for watching. Thank you for anyone who might have lurked during the stream. And so, with everything said, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.